everybody, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're taking a look at Match of the Century, Spassky versus Fischer. This is a very famous chess game that took place in 1972 at the height of the Cold War. Well, I don't know if it was the height, but it was definitely during the Cold War. And we were using chess instead of boxing. Boxing came a little bit later with Rocky. And one of these is real. So, with the resurgence.
Hockey was also 1980.
Oh, that's true. That's true, hockey. Yeah, so we use sports. Like all good battles should be fought with sports and or, in this case, a board game chess. So this is a two-player game that recreates that sort of. It is a game in which you're playing several matches of chess. Sort of. You know, I'm just going to show you how to play the game, and we'll come back. In this game, each person has a king here, and you're going to be playing several matches. Whenever you win a match, you'll move your king forward. If there's a tie, both kings move forward one, and whoever gets to the middle spot first wins the overall match. So each time you're playing a game, you're going to have a handful of cards. This is going to be determined by your mental state down here. There's a track where you keep track of that. Also, this mental state will give you some pawns at the beginning of a round that will be added to the number of pawns that you have. One person, it's going to be the Russian player first, is going to be playing the white pieces, and then the other person's playing the black pieces, and this will go back and forth. And this matters because your hand of cards has a white piece on one side and a black piece on the other. So you can see, for me, if I was playing black right now, I have a great hand. I have a bishop that's value of 3, I have a rook a value of 4, but on the other side, I just have mostly a bunch of pawns. I got a knight who's a value of 2. Whoever has the white cards will play first, and they're going to pick one of these 4 spots. Each of these has an advantage value, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoever wins that is going to get that many points, and when one side has so many points that the other side cannot catch up, or you play cards in all 4 spots, whoever's ahead is the person who will win the match. So when you play a card, so let's say they play a rook here for a value of 4. You could also, if you have any pawns, you can add 1 or 2 pawns to that. So now it's a value of 5. Then the other player will play. I'm playing the black pieces. So I'm like, I'll play this knight here and just leave it at a value of 2. So red is going to get 2 points here on the value marker over here on their advantage in the match. But because the blue player lost, they will do the active ability on the card. So here, choose and discard a card from your hand, and note its strength, draw that many cards. So I'm like, I'm going to get rid of this black 3 here, and now I can draw 3 more cards to my hand, which is going to give me more abilities. There's all sorts of things. Search your card for a hand, show it to the other player, and put it in your hand. The advantage of this exchange is halved. So if I lost with this white rook here, or then I would make it half. This person, instead of getting 2 advantage, they would only get 1. Whoever wins it is the first person to play the next card. So in this case, with our initial exchange here, the Russian player won 4-2. So they would play the next card. So maybe they play a 5 here. Oh man, this is not a good round for me. So again, I think I'm going to lose with this pawn. And this is just simply going to either let me draw a card or take another pawn. So I'll take a pawn. And they go 3 more. Now, they have 5. The best I can hope for is a draw here. You notice whoever wins 4, though, it's a tough match here. Whoever wins it is also going to move down 1 on their mental track. At any point, a player can resign the game, just giving the point to your opponent. And then you're going to pass this. So then all my cards, so if I was playing as the black player, my cards now flip to the other side, and now I'm using the white pieces. And that's what you do. You're just going to keep going back and forth till someone wins. So speaking of theme, your opinion of chess shouldn't really affect this game much at all.
At all.
Like, if you hate chess, you might still like the game. If you love chess, I don't know.
If you hate chess pieces, though, I'm sorry, dude, you're out of luck.
They're really nice pieces.
They're awesome.
They are, yeah.
It has a very good, this game has a very good feel to it. The pieces have heft. The cards are good. They're very full of flavor text. In fact, I think the way the cards look, the way the game looks, there's going to be a lot of comparisons between this and Watergate.
And I haven't played Watergate, actually.
No, you haven't done
I'm
this?
not either.
Okay, so Watergate and this, but I think this is a more palatable theme to people. Some people don't like the theme of Watergate, and I get that. And I think this one's a little easier to play and understand. This also has a lot of similarities in how it plays to a game called Raptor, which I also know you don't play because I mentioned that to you both, in which the winner wins, but the loser gets to activate their card. Which, can we not stop and say I think that's a brilliant design mechanism. I think it's amazing.
I think it's great. And in fact, I don't tend to
disagreement.
love... What?
There's no disagreement.
I know, I was like
No.
threatening you all to disagree. Come on.
Yeah, right? No, but I love that you get that compensation because I tend to get frustrated in head-to-head games when it's like, oh, I pull something a little bit my way, you just undo it. I do something, you undo it. I do something, you undo it. And this doesn't have that. And because Chris wins a point, but I still get compensation, I don't know, it makes it so that I get that little bit of endorphin rush, even though I lost a
Sometimes you're
turn
trying
or I
to
lost
lose.
a match. Yeah.
And that is thematic because in chess you sacrifice a piece.
And sometimes you want to lose with a 5-value card, like your highest card.
Have you pulled that off?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
And
feels
you wanted to lose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
when
they're
you-
big rewards.
Yeah, when he threw down something, threw her 2 pawns on it because you really wanted this match, and I was like, yours. And that felt awesome to, get 2 steps up on that track, draw 2 extra cards, get 2 extra pawns. At the right time, that can be huge. And so I agree, like you're saying, sometimes you sacrifice matches, or you sacrifice, rather, your pieces and stuff. So it has that feeling of, in a card game, that feeling of running a tournament of a game.
Yeah, I agree, and I really so that I've seen in games before, but I still think it's brilliant. And the other thing that's brilliant is the 2-sided cards,
Yes.
to the point where you're sitting there going, I am deliberately not playing this card because next turn it becomes this. At first I was like, I sorted my cards by the pieces in my hand, and then I was like, or maybe I should sort them by the pieces I'll have next turn, which was, I don't know, I thought that was a neat thing. It was Chris who said it, but I'm going to take the credit for thinking of it.
Well, most of the cards are that inverted, so you're like, oh, this is a lousy card this round, but I know next round if I hold on to this lousy card, it'll be amazing. The 1 will become a 4 or 5. And so I like that you're like, okay, I'm struggling now, but next round it'll be better.
And at some point, you do play out cards on their weak side, the pawn side, because you're like, I just need some more pawns. I'm going to lose the 2 influence lane because I think if I throw out this junk card now, it'll give me the extra pawns I need. I can maybe win the 4, and that's a good sense of tension. But then also maintaining your mental fatigue track, I think they call it.
Yeah.
That's really satisfying over the course of multiple games. The terminology is unfortunately confusing.
Because it's a match and you're playing games.
You're playing individual turns, yeah, and then you're playing games. Or no, match?
It's
No, the game
multiple
is the-
games make
Multiple
up
games.
the
The tournament match.
The match, yes.
You'll understand when you play it, because fortunately you know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this game is super balanced too. I'm gonna have to sit down and compare all the cards to see if there's. I know there's a little bit of asymmetry in there. I know that, but I don't know how much. But it's still that fascination with the pieces, and it plays pretty quickly. At first, I was like, I think this might take too long, but I think it has the exact amount of right matches. Is there anything you guys dislike about it?
There is some randomness to the card, so if you early on draw a lot of cards that benefit one color and not the other color, you can kind of feel that you're like, okay, I have all really low cards in white. It'll be great once I go to black, but I have to spend a lot of those good black cards now because I have to play something. Which I guess you can always
You can always just resign.
resign. That's true. You can always resign if you feel poorly set up.
That's true. Yeah, the game does give you a lot of escape valves. It doesn't feel good to resign one of the games, but you're
Unless
just
you
giving
have
your
that 0 card that lets you get bonuses for resigning.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So we're doing a very bad job of answering your question, what things do we dislike about it? I think it's a really tight package.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Is I have a hard time. I mean, I guess if you don't like the theme, and you don't like this genre of games, which I call tug-of-war games.
And I typically don't. Wendy alluded to this. I typically dislike two-player tug-of-war games. There's plenty that I play that I'm like, eh. But because you're sitting there going, I could either win this for the influence, or I could play a card that loses it for this really satisfying ability, I'm happy either way.
I think it's too because each one of those turns that you have out of the 4 possibles, they have different weights. So it never feels like, I earn 2 points, you earn 2 points. I earn 2 points, you earn 2 points. Like, it's always a different amount of points on that little tug of war, so it feels better. Someone's always getting ahead.
What would you rate it?
I'm going to give this an 8. I quite enjoyed it. Like I said, I don't necessarily always love these two-player games, but I thought that this was very clever. I really love the multi-use cards and that idea of if I don't spend it now, I can have something better later. And I do feel like they're relatively balanced. I do know that when I played Fisher, he has a little bit more trouble getting his like mental load up high. At least that was my experience with it. But then he's got other benefits. So it's just interesting the way that they can, like, it thematically, I think those little bits of changes between the two decks make sense because if you're the new guy in, you're getting a little bit more psyched out from playing this, whereas the reigning world champion's a little bit stronger. So I think that a lot of that stuff's tied into the mechanisms too, which I think is very awesome. So yeah, I'm giving this an 8.
I'll up that to an 8.5 for me, and I could see this moving higher. This is a game I played near the end of the year here, but I really am enjoying it. And like I said, I like it better than Watergate. It's easier for me to get this out. It's still a political game of sorts, but it's also thinking about chess, so it's just easier for people to play. And this one might start edging out Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg for me, because that's a tug-of-war game I like a lot. I don't know. This one's still fresh and new, but I love the chess theme. I like that theme a lot. This is the game that the Queen's Gambit game should have been, probably. And I just think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm also coming in at 8.5. This is so good. And if I played this more, I could also see it going up. You know what I mean? This is my impression, having played both sides a few different times and really enjoying it. I do agree that Fisher feels like he has to play a little scrappier, and I like that little bit of it. And Spassky can kind of be a little bit more pompous and stuff in his play. That's good, and yet the characters feel mostly similar. What I would kind of compare this to a little bit is, this is going to sound a little bit odd, it's kind of like Marvel Snap, in the sense that maybe less comparable directly, but it's if you're looking for some experience like that, lots of short little games that all kind of lead to one winning of the tournament, it feels good. Sometimes you'll throw the match just to kind of get set up for the next hand, and I love that. So, and this is I'm going to go ahead and make a bold statement. It's my favorite game that uses chess pieces. Yes.
Ooh.
Even that one.
Ooh. All right, anyway, I'm Tom Vassal.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Don't come after us. We like chess.